Rhino, everybody. Rhino, everybody knows. You got 1 tail, 4 feet, 12 toes. Mr. Rhino, look what grows. 2 big horns on the tip of your nose. Now you got 3 friends, Mr. Rhinoceros, the elephant, the buffalo, and hippopotamus. You got 2 bad eyes, but you're not deaf. In Africa and Asia, there's not many of you left. Mr. Rhino, everybody knows. You got 1 tail, 4 feet, 12 toes. Mr. Rhino, look what grows. 2 big horns on the tip of your nose. 5, 6, 7 makes a herd, and on your back rides a white-tipped bird. 8, 9, 10, you weigh a ton, but you're fast as a zebra when you're on the run. Mr. Rhino, everybody knows. You got 1 tail, 4 feet, 12 toes. Mr. Rhino, but look what grows. 2 big horns on the tip of your nose. Brambles and nettles, you love to crunch with your many, many teeth. You munch and bunch. You're the one and only, as sure as you're born. Bigger and better than a unicorn. Mr. Rhino, everybody knows. You got 1 tail, 4 feet, 12 toes. Mr. Rhino, look what grows. 2 big horns on the tip of your nose. I said 2 big horns on the tip of your nose.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Today at POW. We are live from the Prince of Wales School on Wednesday, the 10th of June. I hope this broadcast finds you well and that you've had a great day in virtual school or maybe even on the school site itself. We had a fabulous assembly this morning. We went live to Folly Farm Zoo in Wales and we were joined by Jack, a rhino keeper. I hope everyone very much enjoyed that assembly. If you missed it, don't worry, you can watch back on demand. Just head over to our virtual school website and you'll be able to have a look at that. As well as our fantastic assembly today, we have had a whole host of brilliant work shared with us. And I'm just going to share my entire screen with you now so that you can see what I can see, because I'd love to share some of the brilliant examples of work that have come in over the last few hours or so. And we'll put these nice and big up on the screen for you all. Before I share the work, just a couple of screenshots from our assembly earlier on. This was Jack, and look at the rhino behind Jack. There he is. Almost looks like the rhino horns going into Jack's ear there. I can assure you that wasn't the case. It was a very special assembly indeed. Now, as well as the special assembly, we've had some fantastic work going on. Robin in Year 4 has done this absolutely fantastic piece of writing. She's been enjoying the Blue Planet series recently, and I think she's been influenced by that series in this piece of work. Certainly, it's something that she's been enjoying. So thank you, Robin, for sharing that with us. Always great to see your work there. Always fantastic to see. Here is someone who's being very conscientious with their power maths work. And it's always great to see a spot of literacy work being done as well. I think that might be James and the Giant Peach there. Thank you to the Davis family for sending these photos through. Loving the focus work carrying on in that family. Thank you for sharing. Here's some beautiful pictures that have been shared with me. This is Alec this time, who's been carrying on with the Ocean Day theme that we had on Monday. And here you can see that he's written plastics is a problem for our oceans. Thank you, Alec, for that fantastic work, and also doing a spot of reading and a spot of maths as well, keeping up with his learning learning when he's at home working super hard. Thank you so much, Alec, for sharing that with us. Always great to see all the work that's happening across the Prince of Wales School. Now, earlier on, we went to Folly Farm Live and we caught up with the rhinos, and we met a very special baby rhino in particular. And I wanted to take you back now to Folly Farm to find out a little bit more about that special baby. So join me as we go back, not live this time, but we are going to head back to Wales to find out a bit more about that very special rhino baby.
So how does it feel to welcome a critically endangered animal to Folly Farm? Mind-blowing, quite frankly. Me personally, this is a career highlight. And for a park such as Folly Farm to have come so far in such a short period of time, 15 years ago when the zoo was in its infancy, bringing black rhinos was a far-fetched dream. They're now in the park, and now to have a baby, a first for Folly Farm and a first for Wales, and a really important part of a breeding program for a critically endangered animal. Does it get any better, really? So as a normal average day, the keepers go off and they check their animals. For us, as the management of the park, quite often we have to rely on our keeping team to be our eyes and ears on the ground. We can't be everywhere at once. We have an awful lot of animals at Folly Farm. In this particular occasion, one of our rhino keepers went up to check on Dakima, and I got a very excited phone call. Which is a phone call I've been waiting for many days. It was a series of squeals, and I managed to pick out the word rhino and baby within those squeals. As you can imagine, everyone's over the moon excited. Immediately after receiving that phone call, I made my way with a couple of other keepers up to check on Dakima to make sure she was doing okay and everything was looking okay with baby. And well, what can I say? She was perfect. Baby was perfect. She was already being an amazing mother, and yeah, couldn't have gone better. So for the species as a whole, this is a really important baby. Black rhinos, everyone is aware that rhinos in general are endangered species. The black rhino is a critically endangered species. These are eastern black rhinos, less than sort of 650 left in Africa. So it doesn't get more endangered than that, really. It's on its way to extinction. So every single baby that's born is like a little treasure that we need to look after and preserve. It's estimated currently that black rhinos have less than 10 years left in the wild. So breeding programs such as the one that Folly Farm is involved with are really, really important. We work with zoos all over Europe to ensure that these animals have a future, have a survival. And also Folly Farm's working with partners in Africa to ensure that the rhinos left on the ground are preserved. And ultimately, these rhinos could end up back in Africa one day. So at this early stage, Dakima's doing all the hard work. She's being a fantastic mother. This calf, as it develops, will hopefully build up a bit of a bond with the keepers and staff that work around it every day. Rhinos are quite fussy creatures. They don't like change a great deal. They do like their familiarity, so they tend to sort of stomp first, charge first, and think later. So you do have to have a sort of respect to working around them. You do have to take your time with various bits and pieces and work with them at their pace. But ultimately, the more you work with them, the calmer they become. And with animals like this, I mean, an adult rhino weighs over 1 ton in weight, so we're talking quite big animals. We can't go in with them. They are wild animals. They are dangerous animals. But we can build up a bond on the other side of the fence. We can bring them over to us. We can get hands-on with them. And as baby develops, hopefully mum will start to trust him around us a little bit more, because at the moment she's fiercely protective. But even now in these early days, he's starting to come over and say hello to the keepers, and he's getting quite brave. She'll quite often put herself in between him and us just to make sure he's okay. But as that develops, that bond will build, and we will get to work with him a little bit, and then we'll start him on the next important steps. He'll go outside and explore the world for the first time, all new experiences for baby. And he'll then start to work with the keepers a little bit more. And like a lot of our big animals here, their health and well-being is the most important thing to us. So when you're working with such a big animal, you have to work with them in similarly you would work with your pet dog. We train them to perform certain behaviours. I'm not talking circus skills. These are health checks. We want to be able to get hands-on with baby from very early days, for him to come over, for us to be able to just check him over visually, have a look, get used to touching us, so that we can, if he does have a problem in the future, we can make sure his health and well-being is paramount. And then eventually, little baby will get a name. He will be entered into the breeding program records. And going forward, that means for him, he'll either go on to have babies of his own as part of the breeding program, or he'll end up going back out to Africa to stock up the wild species. So at the moment, it's a little bit of an unknown future for baby, but it's bright for the species as a whole. This is Dakima's first baby. It's the first calf she's had. Her and Nkosi are both completely new to this parenting thing. Nkosi has the easy life because he's done his bit. He's now separate from mum and baby. When they have their calves, females in the wild like to go and be on their own. Dakima so far has taken to motherhood like a dream. She is protecting that baby. She is keeping him safe. She's allowed him to suckle from day one. She in herself is fit and healthy. She's maintained her wonderful round figure. So she's doing wonderful. I couldn't have wished for more for her. And if things continue the way they are, that little boy will be running around entertaining people here for a little while, and go on to become a really important ambassador for his species. And who knows where the future leads for him.
Absolutely fantastic there to hear from the team at Folly Farm. Isn't it so special and so precious, that fantastic life that's been born there? And we got to see that live today. The Baker family saying that they loved the assembly. Yes, it was a fantastic assembly indeed. Now, it's that time of the day again where I think we need to have a boogie. And I thought we'd go for a bit of a animal-themed ending to our day, because it has been a very special day at the Prince of Wales School. And really, for me, there was one song from one film in particular that I think we will all enjoy. So get your dancing shoes on, because it's time to move it. And really, for me, there was one song from one film in particular that I think we will all enjoy. So get your dancing shoes on.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. All girls all over the world. Original King Julian for the girls, man. I love how all the girls, I love to move their body. When you move your body, you know, move it nice and sweet and sassy. Alright? Woman, you cute, and you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on mother. Woman, you cute, and you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on mother. Physically fit, physically fit, physically fit. What? Physically fit, physically fit, physically fit. Woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Bring your body out to the big tight head. Woman, nice, sweet, energetic. Bring your body out to the big tight head. Woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Bring your body out to the big tight head. Woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Bring your body out to the big tight head. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. Woman, you cute, and you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on mother. Woman, you cute, and you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on mother. Eyeliner, for the face to make man up, nose powder. For the face to make man up, pluck your eyebrow. For the face to make man up, get your lipstick. For the face to make man up. Woman, you nice broad face, and you nice hip. Break man flip and bust them lip. Woman, you're nice and you don't get thick. Put your body out to the big tight headache. Woman, you nice broad face, and you nice hip. Break man flip and bust them lip. Woman, you're nice and you don't get thick. Put your body out to the big tight headache. Whoa, 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 whoa. Move it. I I like to move it, move it. He like to move it, move it. She like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. He like to move it, move it. She like to move it, move it. We like to move it, move it.
We will
like
be
to
back
move it,
tomorrow
move it.
morning,
You like to move it, move it.
live at 9:30 for more Good Morning Pal.